Since we are to talk about music as a commodity, let's not look at people or artists alone. So if we go specifically looking at how the commodity, if we look at the music itself, because we are here because of music, not because of musicians. So what sells is not the music, is not the artists, but it is the commodity itself, which is the content, the music. An example that you can relate to on your side, just like other political parties fighting for freedom and peace. It's just the same thing with these bodies coming out to fight for their music. Yeah, the more it becomes hard, the many bodies you will see. Actually, they are still coming, because the more harder it becomes, they are coming to fight for their rights. Because unless you have a limit in our constitution or your recipe, not to give out to bring out more companies to fight for the rights. And another thing, since we are to talk about music as a commodity, let's not look at people or artists alone. So if we go specifically looking at how the commodity, if we look at the music itself, because we are here because of music, not because of musicians. So what sells is not the music, is not the artists, but it is the commodity itself, which is the content, the music. So if we go looking at the music itself as a commodity, it will as well help us. You know how the government sometimes, we have a lot of actually very, the government can be provided with a lot of things, like, you know, I've always had a trade, it's been as well, not the trade-related intellectual property is not yet as well, is it signed or amended, because you guys have been fighting with it all this time. So it can as well help that if we look at as a commodity to go international, yeah, as a trade-related intellectual property rights. So as well, it can help us create more jobs for ourselves as musicians, like the professionals who are working in the department of production, writing, composers. We can start up something like a major label, whereby it can as well go and bring up those people, like the investors from those international investors, to come and deal with us, whereby when they find our database majorly, like the database at the major level, but it has to be owned by the government or owned or helped by the government. But the professionals who are supposed to be working there are supposed to be the writers, producer, composers. So when the government engages in such activities, it can be helpful for us to go international as well, because the government will be providing some advance to those artists. And these artists, if they're given this advance, they can be monitored by the government straight from all these value chains. Because musicians will come as well who know how to sing professional music, like those ones who are ready, prepared, not anyone to come out and sing. So as well we can represent it as a community internationally, and investors can come through, and you guys, you can talk to them, and you can have some shares or what, according to the database, how it has been working or moving, because the money is there into this art. So that's my submission.
Whether they have no representatives from the legal point of view. Honorable members and chairperson, if we take the example of Kenya and where they come from, that in some industries, from now and time where to come, at least in the foreseeable future, there will always be a big boy on one side and the smaller side. So the telcos, like they say, they will stay the giants of this sector. So in such circumstances, similar to other spaces that outside employment, it is the state that comes in, because you cannot create a fair environment at all levels. Today we have this artist here, tomorrow there's an artist that is coming up. We have the fresh kids of this world that also have their time to come. So it's hard to create a level playing field when they are negotiating with the aggregators and the telecoms. On any day, the telecoms will beat them at their game, because at the end of the day they also want to make something, however small it is. So when in Kenya, where we are using as the example, they have two cases, they call the skiza cases, and then the state has to come in to regulate how much goes to which party. and they have statutory benchmarks where you cannot go below it. Similar to the employment spaces, we have some benchmarks that we set under employment where I say, for example, as an employer, you have to provide X, Y, and Z. If it's maternity leave, you have to provide it. If you leave it at the table for the employer to choose whether they'll give someone maternity leave or not, many cases, or many cases are that they'll go.
Ugandans that are online to stream from the different platforms. When I create a piece of music, my first market is Uganda. But if I've created it and other markets are consuming it, but my best market isn't, it is a bad thing. In many countries like Nigeria, India, the big markets for music streaming, the local artists, their first market is the local one. And then the rest of us can look at Conscience, we can look at all these other trending international artists, we can stream their works. But for Ugandan artists, we say we have about 30.55 mobile phones. Out of those, about 15 million are smartphones. And the 15 million smartphone users should be able to stream. That's quite a lot of money for one artist. And then the music industry makes sense for the people that are investing in it. Mr. Chairman, also people investing in what we call local content delivery networks and other platforms where music is commercialized. They need support, especially if we can grow the local streaming market and by reducing the cost of data. This will grow music revenues by over 200%. We pray that Parliament prevails over the Minister of ICT and national guidance to cut data costs for citizens, just like they did for government. We are aware people in government are enjoying cheap data, but for us in the private sector, our data is very expensive and it is discouraging the development of digital markets. The third issue, currently 90% of Uganda music is monetized on foreign platforms. The ones we mentioned, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, and so on. About 220 online music shows, and most of them are abroad. Artists face challenges of repatriating payments because of restrictions on international payment gateways like PayPal. The recent Bank of Uganda ban on cryptocurrencies made the situation worse. As a result, artists are losing substantial amounts of money to commissions which are paid to third parties to access payments. If you want to get your money from Amazon, you have to look